Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Tom Dog here. We have a special episode of Channel X, and we're not going to do the usual thing with the shout outs and the plugs and everything. Um, it's basically a serious episode today because as you saw in the thumbnail, it's we're actually going to be talking about that. We're going to be paying our respect to the one James Earl Jones. Um, Chat will be live, so if you want to send in your funnest moments of James Earl Jones, or even if you met him in person too. Love to hear your stories and love to hear about it. So chats will be in full effect and everything. We're going to be um, paying our respects. And so, um, I didn't mention this on Channel X last night, um, because I wanted to do this for here. Um, but he was a legend in not just an act, not just as an as an actor. He's actually an EGOT, which means that he's won an Emmy, he's won a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony, and he was inducted into the American Theater Hall of Fame in 1985. I'm reading some notes here, and he was also honored with the National Medal of Arts in 1992. Um, he received a Kennedy Center honor in 2002, Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009, and the Academy Honorary Award in 2011. He is very well known, very famous. He was born in 1953, and in in Arca, Arcabutla, Mississippi. I hope I pronounced the city correctly. I apologize if I didn't. And um, he actually had to stutter during his childhood, and pottery and acting helped him overcome those challenges. And he served in the United States Army during the Korean War before pursuing a career in acting. Um, his Broadway debut was in a play called in 1957 called Sunrise at the Campobello, and then he's also done productions with Shakespeare in the Park, including Othello, Hamlet, uh, Coriolanus, and King Lear. Um, Jones worked. Then he won a Tony Award for Best Actor in a Play for his role as a boxer in The Great White Hope in 1968, which he would later which he would later reprise his role in the 1970 film of the same name, earning him a nomination in both the Academy Awards and the Golden Globes. Um, he won his second Tony Award for Best Actor in a Play. Um, as a working class father in August Wilson's Fences in 1987, he was a Tony Award nominee. He earned a Tony Award nominee for his role as a husband in Ernest Thompson's On Golden Pond in 2005. Um, he also played a former president in the Gore Vidal play of The Best Man back in 2012. He also was in uh, other Broadway performances. In 2008, he was in Cat on the Hot Tin Roof. Um, 2010 to 2011, he was in Driving Miss Daisy. You can't take you can't take it with you in 2014. The the Gin Game in 2015 and 2016, and he received a special Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement in 2017. Um, besides his film roles in the Great White Hope, he was his film debut was in Stanley Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove in 1964. He received a Golden Globe Award nomination for Claudine, and and um, he and obviously he is famously known as the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars. Um, in the first three movies of A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, in and in Return of the Jedi. Um, his other famous roles were The Man, uh, Conan the Barbarian, where he played the main villain in that role. Um, he was also in 1987. He was in Matewan. He's famously known for playing the king in Coming to America in 1988, which he would later reprise for the sequel. Um, he was in The Field of Dreams, The Hunt for Red October. In 1989, he was in Field of Dreams. 1990, The Hunt for Red October. Sneakers in 1992. 1993, he was in The Sandlot, which he was another popular film, and playing King Mufasa in the 1994 Lion King and in the live action remake. Um, he was also in Cry the Beloved Country in 1995. He he was also um, on he was also appeared on television, earning receiving 8 Primetime Emmy Award nominations, winning twice for his roles in the thriller film Heatwave in 1990. and in the crime series Gabriel's Fire in 1991. He also acted in Roots in 1977, Jesus of Nazareth, in 1977, Picket Fences in 1994, Homicide: Life on the Street in 1997, and Everwood in 2004. Um, Trying to get his filmography. Um, he was also in 1960 in 1969 he participated in making test films for the children's education series Sesame Street. Um, he one famous scene that he that you can actually watch on online, where in Sesame Street he was also he was reciting the alphabet, which is actually pretty interesting. You know, it's actually pretty interesting. He has a very interesting voice and everything, and it's like I just loved his voice. Um, um, he also on Sesame Street. He actually um, he was actually from what I understand, from what I'm reading here, it looks like he was actually the first guest to ever appear on celebrity guest to appear on the series. Um, Even though he was in a segment with Carol Burnett, it was the first to actually be broadcast. He also appeared on a soap opera of Guiding Light. Um, um, let's see. Um, James Earl Jones also lended his besides voice acting in The Lion King and the remake, as well as other of course, Darth Vader. He also landed his voice as a pharaoh in the first episode of Hanna-Barbera's The Greatest Adventure: Stories from the Bible, which you can actually see on I believe that's on Me TV Tunes. Yeah. Um He also um cameoed in 1990's Treehouse of Horror Halloween special, um, which of course everybody remembers. I believe it's the Raven, um, where he's reading a book. He also voiced an alien on that show too. So yeah. Um, excuse me. He um he played Thad Green on MathNet, which is a parody of Dragnet, and was on a PBS program, Square One Television. And and if you ever watch, he would do the CNN tagline, "This is CNN," which everybody knows for. He also voiced the NBC's coverage of the 2000 and 2000 2000 the 2000 and 2004 Summer Olympics. He also narrated 27 books of the New Testament. In the audiobook, James Earl Jones reads the New Testament. Um, he had a brief cameo, voicing Darth Vader again in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith in 2005. Um, Later on, he would also talk. Um, he would also be in the film, um, Rogue One, where he played Darth Vader in Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Um, he had some guest spots appearances on. Let's see. He he would land guest spots on Law and Order, Frasier, Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, House, House MD, excuse me. Famously in The Big Bang Theory, which is a really good scene that you can um, watch right now. He was also on Two and a Half Men. I apologize. Um, um, he did some commercials for Sprint alongside Malcolm McDowell. He also starred as Chief Justice Caleb Thorne in the drama series Agent X, with Sharon Stone, Jeff Hefner, and Jamie Sheridan. He also lended some voice um, for Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, which was a three-word cameo in that one, and as I said, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Um, he also voiced Darth Vader again in Obi-Wan Kenobi a couple years ago, and during the production, he actually, and during production of Obi-Wan Kenobi, he did sign um a deal with Lucasfilms authorizing archival recordings of his voice to be used in future to artificially generate the voice of Darth Vader. Um, 2022, he announced that he would retire from the role of voicing Darth Vader, with future voice roles for being credited by that means. So yeah, um, long history of a long catalog of sorry about that. A long category of roles that he from film and stage, screen, and television. Um, he pretty much done everything, and he there's nothing that we can you know say that can, really show what he I mean, I really would have loved to see him on see him on stage in Broadway. Um, I've seen him in a lot of films. Conan being one of them, and of course Star Wars being one of my favorite sci-fi films. Um, he he was one of those actors that you can never say nothing bad about. You really can't. And nobody can can achieve the voice that only he can, because of that deep voice. And you know I never thought that he was American, because his acting his voice and acting sound British, you know. And all this time I thought he was and all this time I thought he was um British, but that just shows what I know. you know. And I mean, he can make you laugh, he can make you cry, he can um, put you on the edge of your seat. He can be good, he can be bad, he can make you think. And he he he's done everything. He's that good of an actor. He can he can do it all. And there's nothing that he can't do. And it's you know and we can never forget these moments that we've had for him. We can never forget these moments that we have of him, because there's all these things that I mentioned where he's his accomplishments and everything, we instantly become a fan from our basically from our childhood. And the number one thing that we remember from our childhood is Darth Vader. And I remember hearing that voice, and how menacing that character was. I mean, there were actors there were people in the suit, in the Darth Vader outfit, but no one could achieve the voice that only James Earl Jones can do. And it was so well done. It was so well done. And I know I was on social media the day, just a few hours after he passed, and there was this picture up. I wish I saved it. It was it was everyone who played who was in Darth Vader. They had They said that we lost the man under the mask, the man who wield the lightsaber, and now we lost the voice. And yeah, it literally took three people to play one character. Um, you had the body, you had the face, but none of those guys behind who who wore the suit could never put that voice on that only James Earl Jones can do. He 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 was absolutely the best at that. And because of the and primarily because of the voice, we you know this garnished him as being move he the best movie villain in cinematic history. With Dark, I mean, Empire Strikes Back, which is one of my favorite films. We knew how we saw how evil Darth Vader could get, and we really saw the dark side in Darth Vader, but only James Earl Jones could pull off the voice. He's the only one. And and then years later when he voiced Mufasa, it was a good, Lion King was everyone loved Mufasa. Forget Simba. You know, we were actually sad to see Mufasa go in that one scene. And we cried. We literally cried when we saw that, because Mufasa was molding Simba to be next to be was of course to be next as king. But with the betrayal and everything, and I don't need to explain it. We've all seen the movie, and we 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 were all saddened to see that character go. Then when and of course the Sandlot. How can we forget the Sandlot? Sandlot was was a good film. It was a good some kids out playing baseball and everything like that, and then here comes and then that one scene where the ball goes into the old man's yard. And but then we found out that he was a they used to play baseball, and and of course he lost his eyesight and everything like that. And but you know we want the kids were afraid. Hey, it's classic kids. Kids film. We all were. We were all like that at that age. We're it's it's summertime, and we all kids are in the group and everything, and having a good time, and then next thing you know is just it just happens. But excuse me, I apologize. Um, but then when we get to know more about uh the character that James Earl Jones played in that movie, we it was a good moment. It was a good moment, and made you um really feel sorry for the guy. And then how could we forget Field of Dreams, where it was a good film. There was never a bad film that he was in. And of course, how could we forget that moment where he guest starred on Big Bang Theory, and it was a funny scene. It was a funny scene, and it it was the fun fact about that about his guest starring on Big Bang Theory, that Carrie Fisher was also in on that show, and that was the first time they have ever met in person. Because when they were doing Star Wars, they never met. They weren't in the same room together. They were never in the same area together. Um, because uh, James Earl Jones, he was doing the voice, was only doing the voice, so he was in a sound state. He was in a sound room, um, recording the voices. So the actors never really got the chance to meet him. So they only knew the voice. But later on, you know of course they would get to you know see each other. So it was a good moment for television. It was a good moment for television, to see that happen. Um, on Twitter, or X as you want to call it, um, Mark Hamill said "R.I.P. Dad," and it was a I broke down in tears, because we all know who you know I mean, yeah, there were other people playing the characters of Darth Vader, but it's like I said, only he had the voice, and we never really acknowledged the other people who wore the Darth Vader suit, because we only remember the voice, and it was it was the voice that made us a, a fan of Darth Vader, and it it was a great moment in history to see that. But then when but then when Vader dies in Jedi Return of the Jedi, we've only had that. We've had the guy looking the way he did after when the helmet came off and everything, and it was well done. I mean, they found a guy who they found this I forgot the actor's name, who was under the helmet, when in Return of the Jedi. I forgot that actor's name, and he matched the voice perfectly, and how he would sound without the helmet on, and then with the helmet on, you would see of course, you would see the the voice that James Earl Jones, which was perfect. It was really perfect, and I'm talking a lot about Star Wars and forgetting about all these other movies. I never saw the Great White Hope. Um, but I'm going to find it and watch it because um, it looks interesting from the scenes that I have saw from that film, and looks interesting. I I only saw Field of Dreams once. I'm going to watch it again. Conan the Barbarian. Um, that one's tough to find, but I'm going to find it and watch it. And just remember those moments with James Earl Jones, and we're never going to forget these. We're never going to forget these moments. And you know, we watch them in our favorite films, or see them on stage and screen and everything like that. It's one of those moments in history that that part of our childhood has once again left us. And I'm gonna miss him a lot, but there's one thing I'm not gonna dwell on, and that's that there's one of those things that he's gone, but he will never ever be forgotten. He'll never ever be forgotten, and he's going to be one of the most great. He's going to be remembered for a long time as one of the best on stage, screen, or television. Doesn't matter where he was, wherever he was doing. We have these movies to watch. We have the shows that he was in. We have these moments, and we're gonna cherish these moments. And as we as we you know we sign off for the evening, we're gonna end it with a moment of silence, and earn his spot in the Channel X Hall of Fame, and not just um, not only just being in the Channel X Hall of Fame, but also having his own wing. And it's a moment that I will always cherish forever. And let's have these moments to never ever forget. And we will enjoy this forever. So right now, let's have a moment of silence right now for James Earl Jones before we sign off for the evening. Gonna miss you, James. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Um, Leave a comment down below if to share if you have any stories that you would like to share with James Earl Jones. Your moments, if you have any, or even your favorite film. Your favorite film that he was in. it would be really nice to hear that. So, um, hit the like button if you like it. Subscribe to this channel. Um, we'll see you next time. And once again, I'm gonna miss you, James. And that being said, have a good night, everybody. This is Tom Dog saying, take care. So long. May the force be with you.